Hey, what's up guys, Monsterfast, and welcome back to another RPG Maker Envy tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about Paper Mario's battle mechanics. Specifically, jump and hammer attacks. Not necessarily, I was going to call it the Paper Mario battle system, but I feel like I would have had to incorporate the entire battle system, including certain stats like star energy or something. But anyways, with that said, we're only going to be talking about airborne units, ground units, and spiky units, and jump and hammer substitutes, but we'll get into that later. We're going to be splitting this tutorial into two halves in the video itself. The first half will just be talking about grounded units and aerial units. The second half will be about spiky units. Alright, with that said, it is time to begin the tutorial. Alright, it is time to talk about the plugins, although there aren't many to go over. The only plugins we really need are the Battle Engine Core, Target Core, Selection Control, the Action Sequence Packs, and Auto Passive States. Battle Engine Core Battle Engine Core and Target Core are required for Selection Control, which is the one we want to focus on for this tutorial. Selection Control has a specific note tag that lets you have certain skills not be able to target certain types of enemies, which we'll get into later. And then we have auto passive states because we want to tie certain enemies to certain states so that they can not be affected by certain skills. This is a really short recording, but we're going to be talking about the states now. I just realized how short some of these sections are going to be, so don't mind me, I'm just going to speed through it. Grounded and airborne are the only states we'll be covering in the first half of this tutorial. Grounded being any units on the ground, and airborne being, well, any unit that's airborne. In Paper Mario, though all skills can attack grounded units, well, all skills as in all jump and hammer skills can attack grounded units. Only jump attacks can affect airborne units, because your hammer is not going to reach all the way into the skies. Unless of course you clip their wings, if they have wings, but that's a topic for another time. And I'll be getting to more of that at the end of this tutorial. So stay tuned for that. And the other thing we talk about for this particular section is the fact that these enemies have passive states attached to them. Showstopper Hawk is airborne, so state 93 will be tied to Showstopper Hawk. And Thunder Slime is just a grounded enemy, so it'll have state 92 tied to it as well. Well, not as well, but it just has state 92 attached to it. I think we're going over the skills next, so see you there. Alright, it is time to talk about the skills, and how do I say it? Just to take into consideration, we have two versions of jump and super jump due to the fact that, well, the second set of jump is actually what you want to import into your game if you want spiked enemies in your game, which we're going to go into a lot later because that's a little bit more complicated than the original jump and super jump. Anyways, jump will leap into the air to deal damage to an enemy. Have a basic formula and, well, it'll affect one enemy. More on that later. Same with super jump, but it just does more damage. Nothing really to note in these action sequences. And we have bash and super bash. Bash will close in and strike quickly to damage an enemy, and super bash will do the same thing but deal greater damage. These two skills will act as the hammer skills. Most hammer skills, because hammer throw exists. Anyways, the only thing to take in, actually, you don't really have to do anything with the action sequences for these skills because they're already taken care of with selection control and the state note tags. So there's not actually too much to go over here at all. So we're going straight into the demonstration because this is quite simple for now. Alright, it is time for the demonstration, part 1 at least. So here's Runefire. He has a lot of skills change, you know, you got your jump skills, your typical jump and super jump. Not the updated version, you'll see what the difference is in the descriptions later. And we have our grounder skills, which are bash and super bash. Anyways, to test this out, we're gonna first start with jump. We're gonna be using jump on the Thunder Slime. Because we actually do want to kill the Thunder Slime, because then we can demonstrate what happens if there's only an airborne target when you only have, what happens to your grounder skills when there's only an airborne target. So with that, we'll use Super Jump on the Showstopper Hawk, and we can just scroll through them because, you know, you can typically show that, like, well, jumps can attack all enemies. So yeah, there's that. We also have our grounder skills. We have Bash and Super Bash. If you try to hit left or right, or whatever you use to scroll through the enemies, yeah, you can't really target the airborne enemy, which is, well, as we stated earlier, cannot be targeted by ground skills. So just attacking the Thunder Slime. And once more with Super Jump. And then we're just gonna destroy this Thunder Slime to show what happens to our grounder skills. With that said, if we go to our jump skills, you can see that everything's perfectly fine, and we can just simply target the Hawk. However, if you check our grounder skills, yeah, you can't really target the Showstopper Hawk, which is actually really appreciated, by the way. It's a lot. It's a weird thing to praise, but I quite enjoy the fact that it does this. Or Yanfly programmed it to do this. Anyways, with that said, let's go on to the second half of the tutorial, where we talk about the spiked enemies, which is gonna be a lot more complicated, but I say a lot more, it's not that much more. Anyways, I'll see you there. I think I'm gonna group the states, the enemy passives, and the skills in one recording bit, because for the first two topics, there's not really much to talk about, / nothing at all to talk about. Alright, we have our spiky states, which is pretty much equivalent to our grounded state, nothing special here. Spiky is just an add-on, which means, well, not which means. Spiky can coincide, a grounded or airborne enemy can also be spiky, which means you can have both of these states, which, well, we will show off actually right now. So the enemy Ice Spike is a grounded enemy, but it is also spiked, as you can tell by the name and its flavor text that I created. This enemy is grounded and is spiked, so state 92 and state 94 will be added to its passive state. Besides that, nothing too special with the passive states. Anyway, let's go on with skills, with the special jump and the special super jump, which have different descriptions, which you'll see in battle. But as far as I'm concerned, there's not much about the descriptions. It's more about the action sequences, which if the target is affected by state 94, which is the spiky state, there will be the pierce animation against the user, and instead of the target taking the damage, it'll be the user taking the damage. You can make it so that you have a certain set value for the user to take damage, but you just need like either conditional branch or straight up by using common events to change variables and stuff. That's all up to you. But for the sake of the tutorial, we're keeping it simple. The user will be, well, they will, how do you explain this in words? They will have the dead motion. That is exactly what we'll call it. The user will jump to the target's front, well, during their jump. And besides that, nothing else happens. Otherwise, things play out just as normal as the previous jump skill. The animation will play on the enemy, and they'll take a set amount of damage. Same thing with the super jump. The only thing different is just the minor changes I changed to the sequence itself and not the conditional branches. Yeah. So as a refresher, its target is affected with state 94. The user takes damage, else or otherwise, the damage will be dealt to the enemy. Alright, with that said, we're already on the second demonstration, so let's get on with it. Alright, here we are in the battle scene. We still have our jump and grounder skills, however, our jump skills look a tiny bit different. It explains what you need to know, so yeah. Anyways, besides that, we do have a spiked enemy in our midst, which means if we use a grounder skill, cause it is on the ground, as grounder skills would imply, we're just gonna use Super Bash on it. and does its typical damage. However, if we happen to use a jump skill on it... Well, actually, you know what happens. You saw the action sequence. This is what happens. Oh, wait, that wasn't supposed to happen, actually. Okay, forget what I said about... Actually, yeah. I think I need to change it so it's certain hit. Because otherwise, that just doesn't make sense. There might be things you can modify for that. But I'm not sure. Like, maybe, like, have a state that gives you a 1000% hit or something. Then we have Super Jump, which does the same thing, but... yeah, it does more damage. You can see that it does deal damage to the user, so mission accomplished. Although I explained it extremely poorly, so that's it for the tutorial. It feels kind of lackluster, I know. But let's go on with the outro. Oh boy, okay, that was one heck of a tutorial. I know some things may have sounded extremely convoluted, and some things sounded way too simple, but stay with me here. This can... well, actually... okay, there's actually a few things I want to explain that will make this feel a lot more, like, compact, I guess. We'll call it compact. Or sufficient? Sure. We'll call it that. Tutorial Plus. That is the first topic right now. I might do special tutorials to either previous tutorials or, in this case, a new tutorial, which will just be an add-on to that specific tutorial, either as an extra note or something added for the extra flavor. In this case, I want to make it so that, so Koopa Troopas in Paper Mario, and Paratroopers for that matter, actually para enemies can get their wings clipped and become they can go from airborne to grounded. However, Koopa Troopas also have this secondary transformation where they go from standing upright to under shells, yes, which will actually reduce their defense by 100%. I kind of want to do something like that for Tutorial Plus, maybe by next week. If not by next week, then either this Friday. So either this Friday or next week. Second thing to note, to make this feel a lot more sufficient or compact, I don't know what word I'm using anymore. This tutorial can actually lead to the way of new tutorials, such as new badges, or rather recreating certain badges. So be on the lookout for that. That probably will be my next tutorial. Okay, next thing is recordings. The recordings for this one were quite short. However, for the sake of having quite easy timestamps, that I don't have to just like, look through the video myself again and again, even though I do that through editing anyways. It'll make timestamps a lot easier, and a lot cleaner for that matter, to be honest. The next thing to note is the time gap between tutorials, because this one took like a month. Well, that actually leads into my final topic, which is the weapon triangle tutorial. I had a weapon triangle tutorial planned instead of this tutorial, however, I did finish it. It's just, I wasn't really happy with the results. And I'm not sure if it's ever gonna be a full-fledged tutorial. It just doesn't seem like something I would feel comfortable making a video about, because it's just not sufficient to be its own video. It'd be like 3 minutes long. Like, you just have to talk about the skills and demonstration, that's it. You're done, basically. So yeah, I'm not sure where that's ever gonna come to fruition. But yeah, with that said, this outro is now over. Thank you so much for listening. And with that, I say, if you liked this video, please consider dual slashing that like button, or setting ablaze that subscribe button. And with that, I say, see you guys, and stay safe.